Last thing I want to talk about today is just to do a little recap of my favorite horror movies of the year so far, given that this is spooky season. I've been just watching a bunch of horror movies lately, and I wanted to kind of, go over, and I'm using Letterboxd to kind of help joggle my memory as to all the horror movies that I was able to watch this year. So I would say the bottom of my list is, and when I say horror movies, this is the genre that is categorized for these movies through Letterboxd, even though it could be a mixed genre, which is a great case in point with this one, and that's Renfield. This is more of like a horror slash action comedy. It stars Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult. Came out back in February, and I thought it was enjoyable. I love Nicolas Cage's shtick every time he's in a movie. So yeah, Renfield I gave it 3 stars, and I liked it because it was a lot of fun. It played on the whole Dracula lore, and with Renfield, his lackey finally standing up for himself and going against his boss. I thought it was an amazing premise. I thought it had for me, it had a good amount of chuckles, but it also had a good amount of kind of eye rolls and all that. But I thought personally it was a lot of fun to watch. I would watch it again because, especially since some time has passed, that's like one of those movies there. If you just want like a silly time watching a movie at home, definitely put that on, and you'll have a blast watching it. And the chemistry between both Nicholases there is really good. It's very well done. And Awkwafina is not that bad in the movie either. I just didn't believe the whole chemistry between her and Renfield. It just didn't work for me. I thought it was a little bit far-fetched, but definitely the relationship between Dracula and Renfield, Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult, I thought that dynamic was very, very well done. I really, really enjoyed it. Next here, Evil Dead Rise, the new entry into the whole Evil Dead franchise. And I think personally this could help resurrect it and bring a new light to the movies, because I thought this was very well done. This was a great first start to a new avenue in the whole Evil Dead franchise that it obviously this is not going away because they constantly keep trying to bring this back. They had the series that was pretty popular with fans. I believe it lasted 2 or 3 seasons before it was canceled. They had the very gruesome reboot that happened because that came out in 2013. Fede Alvarez, yeah, which I thought was actually very well done. The whole Evil Dead Army of Darkness thing, it turned into a very kind of campy, comedic horror type of movie series, and the show itself was also very campy and comedic and all that. 2013 Evil Dead really brought the whole horror aspect back, but also brought it to that level of the gory horror, the really, really gruesome, gory horror. But Evil Dead Rise, I love what they did here. Probably one of the more iconic openings of a title crawl I've ever seen in a movie. But I love that they kind of changed it up a little bit. They took it out of the woods and brought it into a metropolitan city. Majority of the film takes place in an apartment, so that's their quote unquote cabin, right? And I loved how a lot of the stuff that happened not in front of your face, but through a point of view of someone else looking out through a keyhole or through like one of those peepholes from a door. Because that was a really, really amazing idea of doing that, and it added a little bit to the scare factor, to the like horror factor, where you're just like, what's happening? Like, that's who's out there, who's doing all that stuff, what is she doing now? And the actresses they got for this, it's just so good. I mean, Alyssa Sutherland, with the way she contort her body and all that, she was really good. Really, really good. And probably one of the more gruesome scenes I've seen in a while, with the cheese grater. Oh, that's something I'll never forget, because that's something I could feel when I was watching it, So it had like a good mix of horror and gruesomeness, and funny too. Like, if you're familiar with the Evil Dead lore, it's so fascinating how, and I had to do research on this. In Army of Darkness, we learned that there were 3 Necronomicons, 3 books of the dead. So obviously the Raimi ones was focused on one of them. Fede Alvarez is focused on another one. This one focuses on the 3rd. And if I'm wrong in any of this, please let me know. But from my research, that's what I found out. And I thought that's brilliant, especially for the hardcore fans of the franchise. Now, the only thing that prevented me from giving it a higher rating, because I gave it 3 out of 5, and I did heart it, was the ending. The ending was just really, the ending kind of brought it back to a little bit of the cheesy, like, what the fuck is going on here? That was kind of laughable. But I love how, we have like what appears to be like the new female Ash. Nice little throwbacks again with her using like, the chainsaw, portrayed by Lily Sullivan. She's also very good in this movie too. And she had her own like one-liners too, which I thought that was really funny and very cute. So yeah, so I really appreciated Evil Dead Rise. That is a movie I definitely will watch again. In number 3, Knock at the Cabin, the M. Night Shyamalan movie of the apocalypse, the pending apocalypse, with Dave Bautista. I really like this movie a lot. I have a feeling not a lot of people may have liked it, but I did. I thought it was very well done. It definitely played more in the whole suspense in the suspense of it all. It definitely was like a bottle movie where it just took place in that cabin or in that portion of the cabin. And you don't really know exactly what's true or what's not true. And everything that they are dictating, they end up showing on like a news broadcast about the end of the world happening. So I really, really love the whole mystery behind it all. And it is kind of horrific to think about it. If you're approached by these 4 individuals who really claim something, and they have this like full on belief on something, and they are basically holding you hostage to make a choice, to make a sacrifice, right? Like that is pretty horrific. And again, anything that happens in the woods is horrific, because I feel like the one thing that you learn about horror movies that involves the woods is that it's so hard to escape. You have nowhere to go, especially when you're deep in the woods. So I really, really like the whole play on all of that stuff. And I really, really appreciate it. This is definitely, I think, in my opinion, one of M. Night's more recent movies that was really well done. So every time they didn't make a choice, one of the 4 had to sacrifice themselves, right? Or they sacrificed one of them. And by them not making a choice, they put a lot of faith in their hope that they will prevail. Because the thing was that if the 3 of them made a sacrifice, then life will live on. If they didn't, then those 3 were going to be forced to live a life with everyone being gone from the face of the earth. All of these like plagues were going to happen to destroy humanity. It was one of those open-ended things where it's like, wait, did this really happen? Was this really going to be the end of us? It was a fascinating ending because it had you think about it for a while. And I remember when Blake and I had a conversation about it, we debated the whole ending and what we would have done and how we would have lived with ourselves for making a choice against humanity. I remember one of the characters said, is it really worth saving humanity when they treat us the way they treated us? Because they're a gay couple and they were always bullied and talked about. In his mind, humanity failed him. So why should he be the one to save humanity? And again, that leads to so many great conversations, honestly. So that's why I really, really appreciated that movie. That's why I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. So that was my third favorite of the year. My second favorite of the year is No One Will Save You. That's on Hulu. I thought it was a great, simple movie that really had a lot of scares in it. And it really brought back the whole fear in aliens. Because I feel like in recent years, anytime aliens are portrayed in movies, they're always good. They're always willing to want to work with us, right? Work with humanity. There's a movie, Jules, that came out this year that I love, and that was a hopeful movie. It was a movie that brought people together, brought importance to a specific community. A movie like Arrival that helped, talk about faith in love and humanity, meaning of life kind of thing like that. So that, again, those were aliens that were helping us. But this one brought it back to like, no, aliens are here and they want to freaking kill us. They're here to freaking hoard our bodies, infiltrate, and all that stuff. And I loved it. It was a very low budget movie, $22.8 million. And it had no freaking dialogue. No one spoke in the whole damn movie. You may have heard like maybe 1 or 2 words spoken on the TV or whatever. But Caitlin Dever, Is it Diva or Dever? I never know how to pronounce it. She didn't say a single word until like maybe close to the end, where I think she says, "I'm sorry," or "I love you," or something like that, as she's seeing flashbacks or imagery of her mom and her best friend. But her acting too was just so strong. To be able to act throughout an entire movie without saying a single line of dialogue, and basically to rely on your physical acting, your emotional acting, your facial acting. She is so good. And I liked her before, and the things I've seen her do before, like I thought she's a very good actress. Nice up and coming actress. But this one, whew, blew me away. And again, I love what they did with the whole scary aspect of the aliens. It reminded me a lot of Signs and Fire in the Sky, like those two movies that really put an evil spin on the whole alien invasion, alien encounter thing. And I also love the fact that they had different types of aliens depending on the purpose. Like, what was the deal with that giant spider alien? Oh my God, that one was freaky. Really freaky. It was done so well. I mean, the majority of it happened at night, so that's how they could like really save on the CG and make it look good for that amount of budget. But I loved, again, like the slide of sight. That's what I'm going to call it, slide of sight, when the moments where she's like hiding and you only hear the aliens walking, or you see the shadow, or you see a reflection, or you hear the sound, and she has to react to that without really seeing what it is that's approaching or that's around the corner or anything. Like, I love that. I loved how they did that. It was just so good. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but I thought it was a brilliantly done film. That really gave me, at the time of watching it, the heebie-jeebies as I was watching it. I was like, damn, a lot of these moments are really freaky and creepy. Creepy is a good word, for sure. Creepy. There was a lot of creepy moments throughout it. I love the twist in the story of Bryn, the main character played by Caitlin, and how you could tell that there was something going on with her in the town. She was not liked for whatever reason, and how when that revelation finally came out, and the aliens themselves helped her come to terms with it, which is a very interesting thing that they did. The ending itself was like a Pleasantville ending, which was so in itself creepy. It was a lot of fun to watch that. I really enjoyed it. It was great. My number one on the list is Talk to Me. And I have a feeling a lot of people will have this on their list as one of the best horror movies to come out this year. By the way, No One Will Save You, I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. And Talk to Me, I also give 4 stars on Letterboxd. Another brilliant addition to the A24 horror filmography. It was an Australian film. I believe everyone in the film was Australian. Acting wise, great premise, simple premise, very low budget, unbelievably low budget, $4.5 million budget. And what did it make at the box office? $90.5 million. Unreal. I love seeing Miranda Otto again. Those of you who remember her from Lord of the Rings, she's great in this movie. The main actress, Sophie Wilde, fantastic as Mia. But I love the concept. I love the concept that it's this artifact that kids turn into a freaking drinking game, just like kids do. Like how they play their Ouijas or like the Bloody Marys and all that stuff like that. And how they turn this artifact and legit lore into a drinking game. And it's an actual supernatural event that happens that they allow themselves to experience over and over again. Right. And then what happens when you carry it on too far, when it becomes an addiction and you don't know when to stop, and the wrong people do it. Right. Freaky too, when they kind of show that whole thing happening, the effect it has on the person doing it and what they actually see, the image of the soul that they're talking to or that they see there in the room. I thought it was very smartly done because, again, it was simple. Keep it simple and keep it relatable. Anyone who's been in a party, there's always that like game that everyone loves to play. And the more risque, the better, right? Especially like when you talk about like college kids and their frat parties or whatever, especially when it involves social media, because everyone was on their TikToks and Instagrams posting the videos of people going through it, and it became a viral sensation. It's like, oh, talk to me game and all that. And this looks like this could potentially be the first franchise for A24. A24 made it known this year that they want to dive more into action films, franchisable IPs, which I'm slightly worried about, but if they keep their heads to where it's been this whole time, then I have no concern really, because I think they'll know how to handle it. This could be their very first franchise, because the way the movie ended, I could see them doing a sequel of, okay, now this is the next chapter. I could see them exploring this whole universe more, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. The overall reaction to this movie was phenomenal. This is probably one of the more highly rated horror movies of the year. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.2 on IMDb. Like I said, I rated it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I thought it was extremely well done. So yeah, so those were like my 5 favorite horror movies of the year. Talk to Me, No One Will Save You, Knock at the Cabin, Evil Dead Rise, and Renfield. I'm curious as to what your favorite horror movies of the year have been so far. Definitely let me know. Give us your thoughts on the horror movie genre of 2023, and what other horror movies you may be looking forward to coming out in the future. So happy to have Surfshark on board as one of the affiliate partners for the Low-Key Geek channel here. If you're in the market for a new VPN, I highly recommend a company like Surfshark. And trust me, I've tried all of the VPNs out there, and by far Surfshark is the #1 clear-cut winner for me because of many reasons. Yes, of course, it gives you great protection and security protection while you're browsing the internet, especially when you travel and you're in other countries or other states, and you want to make sure your browsing data is, fully secured and no one is like spying in on you or stealing some of your stuff that you're transmitting online. What I mainly use Surfshark for is for unlocking the streaming services that I already pay for. There's no better feeling in knowing that you can get more out of your streaming services by accessing content that is not necessarily readily available for you in your region. What do I mean by that? Well, a great example is that recently I wanted to check out some movies off of Hulu, but I don't subscribe to Hulu. But I found out that in the UK, Hulu movies are shown on Disney Plus. So all I had to do was connect to the UK server there through Surfshark. And then once I was connected, I just logged into Disney Plus and bam, Hulu movies were available and I was able to enjoy it without any issues with quality due to speed, because everything was playing perfectly and the audio was coming in crisp and all that. It's as if I was just watching it normally through my normal internet connection. But the main reason why Surfshark is by far the best is because it is the cheapest out there. And I can't stress that enough, where, we're all trying to save money here. And with all the stuff that we pay for on a monthly basis, the last thing we need is to add on an additional high monthly payment to our bills, and Surfshark will not hurt your wallet at all. As a matter of fact, if you scan that QR code you see on the screen right now, or you check out the link in the description of this video, you'll find out how you can get Surfshark for 85% off plus 2 additional months. Actually, hold the phone right there. Surfshark has decided to start off their Black Friday deals early, now offering even cheaper discounts. Depending on which subscription you go for, you can now get Surfshark One for a total of 28 months for only $2.69 a month. That's as little as $75. Or get Surfshark Starter for a total of 27 months for as little as $1.99 a month. That's just under $54. This is another reason why I am so happy that Surfshark has decided to partner up with us here, and I can't recommend them enough. Again, thank you so much, and if you do try Surfshark out, let me know what you thought about them when you do, and let me know your thoughts about the service in the comments of this video.
For full audio episodes of the MovieTime Podcast, make sure to follow and subscribe to the Low-Key Geek channel on your favorite podcast platform. New episodes are uploaded every week.